friends, I hope you are all well. I am Yasir Bhatt once again and you are watching my channel Travel Tank. Today in this video we will explore Uzbekistan, the land of Sharons. Uzbekistan is within the South Central Asian Union and was bordered with other member states of Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. It is doubly landlocked but includes the southern shoreline of the Aral Sea. Uzbekistan history. Uzbekistan is rich in history. Samarkand was conquered by Alexander the Great. Islam was introduced in Arabs in the 8th to 9th century. The most famous leader to come from Uzbekistan is Amir Temur, who was born in Sharai south of Samarkand. Russia conquered Uzbekistan in the late 19th century. Stiff resistance to the Red Army after World War I was eventually suppressed and a socialist republic set up in 1924. During the Soviet era, intensive production of cotton and grain led to overuse of aged agrochemical and the depletion of water supply, which have left the land poisoned and the Aral Sea and curtained rivers more than half dry. Uzbekistan gained independence in 1991 following the breakup of the Soviet Union. The country is normally a democracy, however, from 1991 to 2016, the country was run by President Islam Karimov, whose security services are widely believed to have killed several hundred protesters in Andijan in 2005 and have been responsible for several breaches of the most basic human rights. Karimov passed away in September 2016 and the country has since been locked in political tension as individuals are now eager to improve the Uzbek economy and ease its isolated position from the rest of the world. Climate: mostly mild latitude desert, long hot summers, mild winters, semi-arid grassland in east. Geography: Uzbekistan measures 1,450 km west to the east and 930 km north to the south. Mostly flat to rolling sandy desert with towns, broad flat, intensely irrigated river valley along course of Amu Darya, Sere Darya and Zafron. Fergana Valley in east surrounding by mountainous Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, shrinking Aral Sea in west. Sardaya across the Fergana Valley and runs on the northeast edge of the Kizilkum Desert. It is 2,212 km long, 3,019 km including its source Narayan. Its antiquity it was called Chekstress. Sardaya flow into the northern part of the Aral Sea. Cities. Number 1. Tashkent, the modern capital and largest city. Number 2. Fergana, center of the Fergana Valley and one of the important industrial cities. Number 3. Andijan, Uzbekistan's fourth largest city, right in the heart of the vibrant but combustible Fergana Valley. Number 4. Bukhara, a legendary Silk Road capital 2,500 years old, the historical center of which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site filled with magnificent examples of monumental, medieval, Islamic and Central Asian architecture. Kiva site of the Chenkala. Number 5. Nomangan, the third largest city at the northern edge of the Fergana Valley. Number 6. Naukos, the capital of Karakal, Pakistan, on the Amu Darya, surrounded by a region devastated by the environmental degradation wrought by the drying of the Aral Sea. Number 7. Samarkand, the nation's second largest city in the world, of which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, home to the most famous Silk Road attraction of them all, the Registan. Number 8. Shahrazabs, a small city was historical center, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its impressive monuments from the Timurid Tenacity. Number 9. Tirmiz, the southernmost city near the border with Afghanistan, named by Alexander the Great, forced for the intense temperature they found here. Several of these were once great trading cities on the Silk Road. Visa information. From July 2018, there is an e-visa system for most countries. Uzbek e-visa. The cost is $40 US. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, bilateral visa-free regime has been established with Kazakhstan up to 60 days, Tajikistan up to 30 days, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Belarus, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Moldova, Russia, and Ukraine. A visa-free regime is introduced for 30 days period for citizens of foreign countries. Please pause this video and see all countries' names. The visa-free regime applied to citizens of these countries, holders of all categories of passports, diplomatic service and civil, planning to visit the Republic of Uzbekistan for up to 30 days, regardless of the purpose of their trips. In order to enter the country, a person must have a valid national passport or an other substitute document used for travel to foreign countries. To apply for a visa, complete the application form, print out the resulting PDF, and take to your printed form together with some photos and a photocopy of your passport to your nearest Uzbek embassy. There will be then ask the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Tashkent for permission to issue a visa, which takes 7 to 14 days. Once this permission is granted, you can pick up your visa. Within 3 days of entrance to the country, you need to make registration and official statement indicated the addresses you are staying at. If you stay at reasonable hotel, they will do it by default. However, if you stay at a house, you will face a lot of bureaucratic paperwork in order to register yourself. When you enter Uzbekistan, expect fairly lengthy immigration and passport procedures, but these are fairly painless. In particular, you will be asked to declare all the money you are bringing into the country. Don't worry about this. Declare everything you have and make sure you have less money when you leave. Customs does not check how much money you bring in any longer. There is still a $2,000 limit, but custom also does not check when you depart either. So the limit does not matter unless you make it hard for yourself by voluntarily declaring you have more money than $2,000. Travel permits are required for the mountain areas near the border to Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, including great part of the Ugam Chatkal National Park and Zamin National Park. Airports information. Tashkent is the main international airport of Uzbekistan. The airport itself is reasonably modern and has various international carriers operating as well as the national Uzbekistan Airways. If you qualify for visa-free entry, you will be stamped in without much ado. The arrival terminal is large with free Wi-Fi. There is a central desk selling 8 GB tourist SIM cards for around 84,000 som, only local currency accepted. There is a chain kiosk as well as some ATM and change machines, although these don't always work, so make sure you have some exchangeable cash with you in good condition. Taxis are available outside the terminal. Prices are very negotiable. If you download Yandex Taxi, local version of Uber, you will be picked up from the roundabout in front of the terminal. As it seems they won't park, the drive into the city center will be $3. There are airports at Andijan, Bukhara, Fergana, Karachi, Namangan, Nokos, Samarkand, Tashkent, Tirmiz, and Organch. Trains information. Usable passenger services only exist to Kazakhstan and via Kazakhstan to Russia and Ukraine. There are also railway lines linking Uzbekistan to Turkmenistan and Tajikistan. However, service is Turkmenistan is suspended. The main line Tashkent, Samarkand, Bukhara is served by two express trains named Rajasthan and Shark. The Registan brings you from Tashkent in less than 4 hours to Samarkand, and the Shark makes the 600-kilometer journey Tashkent Bukhara with immediate stop in Samarkand in about 7.5 hours. A daily overnight train from Tashkent to Bukhara offer the possibility to travel during the night and win one day. Comfortable sleep cars allow a good sleep. Recently, a new train, Afrosiab, started operating on Tashkent to Samarkand line. This Talgo 250 type train make a respective distance in 2 hours time. Unlike two ordinary local trains, there are three classes in Afrosiab. Economy class, 36% per carriage room. In business and VIP, economy class cost 46,000 soms, roughly $20 at official rate. Business class 65,000 soms and VIP 80,000 soms. You may also expect some free drinks and snacks. Roads and border informations. There are roads from surrounding countries, but the borders may not be open and there have been security problems. There are a risk of landmines in some border areas. From Afghanistan, the Friendship Bridge, 10 kilometers south of Tirmiz, links Afghanistan with Uzbekistan. From Kazakhstan, there are three main borders crossing between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. Gisht Koprek between Shamkand and Tashkent is the main road crossing between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. A shared taxi or mashrutka from Kalos bus at Shamkand to the borders cost about $4. The trip takes about 1 hour. The border is open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tashkent time. You will have to walk over the border and to take a taxi from the border to Tashkent, which will cost about 6,000 soms. There are reports of waiting time up to 5 or 6 hours at the borders. There is another crossing between Baino in western Kazakhstan and Kungrad in Uzbekistan, and other crossing that allows vehicles through at Chinaz in Uzbekistan, which is a good option if you are looking to avoid Tashkent, very disorganized border but friendly. Buses from Bishkek to Uzbekistan stop at Gisht Koprek border. You will have to take a taxi from the border to Tashkent for 6,000 soms. A transit visum for Kazakhstan is required. You can take a taxi or minibus from Jalalabad to Khanabad and walk over the border. You can take a taxi or minibus from Osh to Dostlik and a shared taxi from there to Andijan in Uzbekistan. From Tajikistan, it is about 55 km from Dushanbe to the border at Dinau. Taxi departs from Zarnisar Bazar in Dushanbe. A seat in a taxi will cost about 8 Tajikistani som and the trip will take about 90 minutes. There are minibuses from the border to the town to Dinau. You will have to take a shared taxi to Samarkand. You will have to take a shared taxi from Panjikant to the Tajik-Uzbek border and another one from the border to Samarkand, about 50 kilometers. Transportation information. When landed borders are open, buses run to all neighboring countries. Buses travel is only for the truly adventurous and not for anyone in a hurry in Uzbekistan. But city buses, faultlessly pure, and many city buses of the Mercedes-Benz brand European quality. If you do travel any distance on a bus in Uzbekistan, take toilet paper with you and be careful what you eat at stops along the way. You can travel by private taxi, minibuses, or normal bus. While there are official taxis, most cars will become taxis if you wave them down. Meters are rare, so negotiate and price beforehand. During the day, the metro underground trains is the good option. After 12 midnight, you are recommended to use taxi services. It is better to call the taxi car service to pick you up in advance. Some car services can serve the foreign speaking tourists. You can get more information in the hotel. Uber does not work in Uzbekistan, but in Tashkent you can use their local partner Yandex Taxi. Intercity rides are around 8,000 to 20,000 soms. You cannot currently link a card to pay for Uzbek rides, so you will have to pay in cash. Keep some small change handy. Peoples and languages. The majority of citizens are ethnic Uzbek and most speak Uzbek. The official language as their first language, Uzbek, is a Turk language influenced by Persian, Arabic, and Russian, and is written using the Latin script. Russian is widely spoken, being the native language of around 14% of the population and spoken by most as a second language, especially in urban areas. There are also significant numbers of ethnic Tajik and Kazakh in Uzbekistan, often speaking their native tongue as a first language. In Samarkand and Bukhara, for instance, one is just as likely to hear Tajik being spoken as Uzbek. In these cities, more and more people understand English, especially those in the hotel and catering trades. Architecture. Uzbekistan has preserved a rich architectural heritage. The construction of monumental buildings was seen as a matter of prestige, emphasizing the power of the ruling dynasty, leading families, and higher clergy. You will find historical religious buildings everywhere in Uzbekistan, like Friday Mosque, Ariatri Mosque, Neighborhood Mosque, Madrasa, Khanka, memorial buildings. Old historical markets and buildings in Uzbekistan. Number 1. Tim Abdul Khan Market, Bukhara. Number 2. Charso Market, Tashkent. Number 3. Tak Market, Bukhara. Number 4. Karwan Sarai, Bukhara. Number 5. Bath House, Bukhara. Natural reserves. Chayan Ecological Center, Kitab State Geological Reserve, Kaizelkum Tugai and Sand Reserve, Noratau Kaizelkum Biospheric Reserve, and Ugam Chitkal National Park. What can be done in Uzbekistan? Camel trekking in desert area, bird watching, trekking in the Ugam Chitkal National Park, rafting in the Chitkal or Sur rivers, and lastly, skiing. What can you eat in Uzbekistan? Being an historical crossroad and part of Nemurius Empire, Uzbek food is very eclectic in its origins. Indian, Iranian, Arab, Russian, and Chinese influence are present in this unique cuisines. Ush Pulao is the national dish. It's made of rice, carrots, onions, and mutton. Chochvara, similar to ravioli and stuffed with mutton and onions. Manti, lamb and onions filled dumpling like food, often with onions, peppers, and mutton fat. Samosa, which are pastry pockets filled with beef, mutton, pumpkin, or potatoes. Lagman, thick soup with meat, potato, spices, vegetables and pasta. Shashlik, grilled meat usually served only with onions. Varel and mutton is marinated in salt, peppers and vinegar, and 8 to 10 pieces of meat are grilled on a spit over the open fire. Bread. Uzbek eat lot of bread in Uzbek called naan. Round bread is called lepioshka. You can buy it everywhere, while in the bazaar it costs around 400 som. Samarkand is very famous for the bread. The characteristic Samarkand bread, kobi naan, is traditionally baked in clay furnaces. Bread is served to every meal. Mastawa, rice soup with pieces of onion, carrots, tomato, peas, and eventually boiled plums. Shorba, soups of mutton, sometimes beef, vegetables. Bishbarmak, a specialty of the nomad Kazakh, boiled meat of sheep or ox, and pieces of liver served with onions, potatoes, and noodles. What you can drink in Uzbekistan. Tea, particularly green tea, is a national drink of Uzbekistan. Vodka is also famous through as a result of more than a century of Russian domination of the land. Tea is served virtually everywhere. Home, offices, cafes, and restaurants. Uzbek people drink black tea in winter and green tea in summer instead of water. If tea is served in the traditional manner, the server will pour tea into a cup from the teapot and then pour the tea back into the teapot. This action is repeated 3 times. Wine product in Uzbekistan has won numerous international prestigious awards for a high quality. There's nothing to wonder about since sun in this country shines almost every day. Although Uzbekistan is predominantly Muslim, for the most part the Islam practiced, there tends to be more cultural than religious. Beer is available in every shop and is treated as soft drink and does not require any license to sell. There are special licensed shops selling vodka, wine, and other drinks. Russian made vodka is available in only few shops. You can buy 1.5 liter bottle of local Serbas beer for 9,000 soms. Kimis is an alcoholic prepared from mare's milk. Nightlife. In Tashkent, there are various night dance clubs and restaurants. They usually work till late night till early morning. Take enough cash because drinks and snacks are much more expensive than in daytime restaurant. Also, you can find overnight Uzbek chill out restaurant where you enjoy traditional foods. Stay and accommodation. There are many hotels and hostels in the country. In Tashkent, there are various type of hotels you can stay. It can cost you $60 and more, depending on how much you are willing to pay for your pleasure in hotel. So friends, we end today's video here. I hope you enjoyed. It is requested to you all, if you like our video, then please share with your friends, like our video and subscribe our channel. Take good care of yourself. See you later with a new video. Goodbye till then.